In this video I want to discuss why I think that talent doesn't matter if you want to start learning an instrument. First of all, why do you think that if you've never played an instrument, you will be bad at it? If you would practice for an hour every day for 1 year, even if you're just below average in talent, there's no way you will be worse at the end of the year. In fact, I would say even without talent, you will play pretty decent after practicing for 365 hours. Here's the point I want to make. Making music is an extremely technical skill. If you look at what you're doing when you play, let's say, piano, first of all, you're not making that much art, you're just learning to hit the right notes with your fingers. There's no creativity involved, you're just learning complex movements with your hands. It's a bit like sport. I know my friends are gonna kill me for saying this. And even musical science like dynamics or articulation are very often written in the music. I already said this very often on the channel. If you just do what is in the notes, you will get most of what you can get out of the music piece. This means if there's a forte, don't just neglect it, play it. Because making music is such a technical skill, I don't believe that you need to have talent to be able to enjoy and get proficient at it. If you want to be a professional, I think there's some kind of talent you need to have, but I don't think it applies to normal people. There's talent in regards to a specific job description in music. For example, conductors are born. You can't force yourself to be this person. There are people, no matter how much they work on themselves, they could never become this person. Doesn't mean that you can't develop as a person, maybe you're just not there yet. So I wouldn't judge myself too hard in the beginning. If you would have known me personally 8 years back, you would have thought that I would ever have the guts to stand in front of an orchestra. But this guy wasn't my authentic me, that's not the person I actually am. I had to get rid of the character traits my environment had put on me. The second thing is the wish for creative expression. That's a bit tricky. Some people have to force themselves to make music more than others, and if you're a creative person, if creativity is defined like in the Big Five model, coming up with different forms of interpretation, and this last 4 or 5% of making music will be easier. But I do believe that even the most creatively impoverished people will enjoy making music and learning an instrument because it's rooted deep inside all of us humans and it's extremely meaningful. And there's obviously the technical part. How fast can you learn complex movements? How fast can you learn to read notes? How much do you practice? How much frustration can you tolerate? Even if I would start to learn a new instrument from scratch, and I can play 3 already, pretty decent, I know I would be extremely frustrated because learning something new is just hard. That's normal. It should feel like this. There are some videos here on YouTube saying that it is better to make slow progress towards your goals. I disagree. If you can get what you want in 6 months rather than 10 years, I think that's most of the time the better alternative. For most normal people, progress on an instrument will come slow, but I can tell you this, sometimes you practice something for, let's say, 2 hours, nothing works, and then you come back tomorrow and somehow it does work. So the struggle you will feel practicing is actually good. If practicing feels hard to you, congratulations, you're doing everything right. It should feel like this, otherwise you're not practicing the right way. Another thing a lot of people struggle with is rhythm, and I often don't know what is the best way to teach them. But what I've seen with my students is that if you work on rhythm whenever it shows up, they will get better eventually. What I found helpful is to not play it for my students before they have tried it. Because if they already know how it sounds, they don't have to think for themselves, and I feel like they don't learn as much as if they had to figure the rhythm out by themselves. It is certainly hard at the beginning, but if you can get through there, you can learn everything on your own. I hope I made this very clear that I don't believe there are people who are not enough talented to learn an instrument. Even if you would learn less fast than others, you would probably really enjoy it because it's extremely meaningful. Thanks for watching, and we see each other in the next one.